pumpkin seed is good for, if you have parasites.
Yes.
And we all get little doses of parasites because we don't know what we're eating when we're eating out, and how well they washed all the produce, and how well they cook the meat.
Yeah.
Even in our own, So in Chinese medicine, we talk about parasites a lot. I know it's not like one of those, subjects that people want to talk about, but it is a real thing. And so any chance that you can eat things that are going to, move out the parasites, it's always good. Like pumpkin seed or, pomegranate seeds, all those things sprinkled in, your foods. It's all great and easy stuff to do to incorporate.
I've started to do that with pumpkin seeds. I didn't know it got rid of parasites, so I'm doing a favor
it's
to
one
myself.
Of the foods, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But I've definitely started adding pumpkin seeds to things.
Sprinkle it in your water.
Oh, I do. I make my little, it's not a real cocktail. It has no alcohol, but I'll have like a little mineral water or something, and I'll put like lime, lemon, and I put like pomegranate seeds in it, and that makes me feel like I'm having a cocktail.
There you go. You're already doing it. Yeah.
I can't eat shit. Hello, and welcome back to season 2 of I Can't Eat Shit podcast. I'm your host, actress, comedian Shondalia White. And yes, people, I can't eat shit, and the shit is annoying. I started I Can't Eat Shit podcast because I was secretly ill for many years. People asked me a lot of questions about it, so now I'm healed and I'm ready to talk about it. You can check out my solo journey in season 1. But for season 2, I'm spicing it up a little bit, and I'm bringing in some friends and experts to help me talk about all of this stuff. And today I have one of my favorites. She's an educator, holistic practitioner, and she's actually my healer, Solla Pizzuto. And we'll be talking about Chi Nei Tsang, the art of Chi, the diet, and we're doing a body demo. So let's get into it. Hi, Solla. How are you?
Hi, Shondalia.
Thank you for coming to the podcast. I'm like overjoyed. It's so much good tea going on right now. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for taking the time. Just so everyone knows, Solla is she's literally my healer. I go to her all the time. We've been in each other's lives for like over 3 years or so now, right? It's been a minute.
I think it's been more, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. And Solla came along to help me with my healing journey with the Chi Nei Tsang, which you'll hear a lot about when we go through the questions and everything. But she really helped me get my digestion back on track, my diet, everything. She's helped me with a lot of stuff. So I love her to death. I do. I just love you so much. And she is super talented, of course. So I wanted to have her here because her background is so extensive. Solla, you do so many things. You started out as being like a nurse. You are now a holistic practitioner. I believe you are also studying to do acupuncture. Am I correct? Yeah, you're doing everything.
Well, I guess you could look at it under the umbrella of healing arts. I started way back as in childhood, actually. So this is going back, in my Asian culture of working with the body and acupressure points, and being in the military and being a combat medic and helping out all the soldiers, heal themselves, and then going into the holistic arts in alternative medicine and landing. Fast forward, of course, now, this is like 30 years in the makings. And now I'm completing my doctorates in traditional Chinese medicine. And that is, involves, acupuncture medicine and meridian points and all these things that actually I dabbled in all these years anyways. So this is just sort of the icing on the cake of my own personal endeavor, and just for on my own personal additional, continuing education knowledge.
Wow, just amazing. I love the overall. I'm kind of like that where I feel like mine is overall as well. I kind of dabble in a lot of things, and I feel like to me it's all the same umbrella.
Yes.
They all sort of work together. So I love hearing that. I really do. So just to jump in with the questions, first off, I was going to ask you, how did you overall get your start with being a healer?
Oh, that was easy. I was one of those teenagers. I was one of those kids that always went to the library for my, we back then. I mean, this is how old this is. I'm not telling you how old I am, but back then we didn't have the internet and we didn't have devices and all this knowledge of the worldwide network. So we all went to the library, and here I was, young, 18 years old, and I always found myself nosing in my nose in the alternative category, like metaphysics and healing and meditation and all those things. I was so curious back then, and sure enough, I found myself in the Taoist practice even back then. I was like 18 years old, and I found Mantak Chia at 18. In one of
Wow.
those books. Yeah, he had one of his first books. Since then, he's one of my mentors in Thailand, a grandmaster of Taoist arts, and he is like the Deepak Chopra, if you will, of the
Oh, I
Taoist arts.
gotcha.
hmm and he's written many, many books. But one of his very first books, was just I was so mesmerized by it because it was talked about how you can transform your emotions by way of doing all these physical movements and sound and breath and vibration. And when you're 18 or I was 17, actually 17 and a half, and I'm looking at this going, oh my god, I could get rid of all my frustration just by doing all these things over here that he's talking about. you know
Let's do
Right,
it.
so that got me hooked in. I was like, "Okay, I'll do it, I'll do anything to, get rid of all my frustration here."
Yes.
And, yeah, so that's what started me actually in
Oh
that
man.
journey. Mhm.
I wish I had that at 17. I definitely needed it.
Right?
I was trying to figure it out too. I feel like you said, all kids, they're just trying to figure that part out. Like, what do I do with all these emotions?
I know, and it's like, I definitely wasn't getting it from school or church or anywhere else for that matter, and when I saw that book and all these things that he was, teaching, I was like, "Wow," and it worked because I really was, like I was like every other 17-year-old. I had a lot of frustrations, at
Mm-hmm.
that time, a lot of anger, a lot of pent-up stuff, and so yeah.
That's fantastic. And so with Chi Nei Tsang, I met you because I had fibroid surgery and I had all this uh, scar tissue that I didn't know what to do with. I just happened to have a gift card to this spa, and I ended up meeting you. I feel like it was the universe bringing us together because I never have been there. I didn't know anything about Chi Nei Tsang. I was just looking for something to break up scar tissue because I was having a lot of pain, and it was so funny because as soon as I met you, I don't know if you remember, but you were just like, you went, okay, I want you to do this. I want you to get this book. And it was like book, I think it was like, what was it? Fit for Life. It was the Fit for Life book, and you wanted it was read this chapter, only that chapter, and this will help you with your digestion. And you go, and we're gonna just ground you, because of course I came in all flustered and all over the place, and I'm usually doing way too much. And you grounded me, and it was just such the best experience. And I literally went looking for you. I was like, I gotta find this lady. I have never felt better. The massage was so painful, but it was like I felt so good after. And I was just like, this is the first time I'm feeling this good. And I found you, and I asked you, about if I could become a client doing Chi Nei Tsang. So what got you into doing that sort of work with Chi Nei Tsang?
Well, basically, I started in the healing arts arena since I was a child, and and my endeavors in my whole adult life has been around, finding ways to heal the body and try to find ways to prevent yourself from getting ill, right? So I learned that early on in my life. Thank
Oh
goodness for
wow.
me. And because I was already introduced to Mantak transformation of the emotions, because our emotions so much informs the way our gut is going to
Mm,
be orientated. We have butterflies in our stomach, when we're nervous, right?
yep.
We have knots and tangles,
Yep.
and, when we fall in love, we also have knots and tangles.
Yes. It's true.
So everyone can pretty much agree that that's something is going on in our gut with our
Yes.
emotions, right? When we're sad and grief stricken, we can't eat. We just don't have the appetite, things like that. So there is what's called the mind and brain gut axis that links the two together. This is why there are so many books out now that talks about our gut being the second brain. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, I always was very interested in all of this kind of healing ways, like self-care. And when I discovered Chi Nei Tsang for myself, because the abdominal massages in traditional massage schools or bodywork schools, and I've been to many of them in my lifetime, even have taught in some of them. So, as the teacher's end and also as the receiving end, there is not a lot of time spent on the stomach or the gut or the organs for that matter. And so I happened to up north. I went to up north in San Francisco area, and I was fortunate to have had a Chi Nei Tsang session
Oh,
with
wow.
someone very skilled. And I went off that table, and me being, with having all this knowledge anyway, for me to be like, oh my God, what was that?
Yeah.
What just happened to my body? And I was like, I came off the table and I was like, I felt like I was floating. I felt like my entire material weight, substance of my body was all light.
Mm-hmm.
Felt so light. And I said, oh my God, what? And then the practitioner said, well, this is part of Mantak Chia's thing. And I said, oh my God, I've been missing out all these years. Because I was so into the meditation, because, the work that I did with Mantak Chia's books and things like that was all about meditation and Qigong and Tai Chi. And it wasn't so much about the body work. Even though I have all this body work experience, I guess my practice was that, I was getting good results even without doing the body work on the stomach, in all honesty. So I didn't really pursue that part until I just by happenstance got that experience. And she was like, this is Mantak Chia's thing. And I said, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, what? So immediately after that, I flew, I got my plane tickets, and I decided to spend like 3 to 4 months with Mantak Chia.
Wow.
And just dive deep into that practice. I said, I need this. I need to have this in my practice, and I need to be offering this to my patients and my clients, because this is the missing link. This is the missing puzzle of the pieces. And so that's how I got into it.
That's fantastic. And you can, in your own words, can you explain what Chi Nei Tsang is? So for people that aren't familiar with that body work?
Yeah, Chi Nei Tsang is kind of maybe, for most people in the Western world, it's hard to say and it's hard to understand. Really what it translates to is the movement of energy in the organs, in the body, right? And basically for the people that's versed in acupuncture and putting the needles in specific points and opening that channel system, right? That affects the entire body, mind, body. The work with Chi Nei Tsang is similarly affecting the whole body and working the channels and moving the organs, but manually. So you're using the hands and the chi of the hands. And when we do Tai Chi and Qigong, we are always moving that energy, right? The yin and the yang of energy. We're always moving it. And so therefore, Chi Nei Tsang is applied Qigong into the body. And it's not like energy work like Reiki where you just hover over somebody. No. This is not that at all. This is actual hands moving the body around, almost like visceral manipulation, almost like physical therapy, working in the body, opening the lungs, opening the heart, moving the liver, shifting things around in the intestines, opening space in the uterus, opening space around the waistline that houses all of our reproductive organs. I mean, it's so very distinct from any of what's called energy work out there, because it's not energy work where you're not touching somebody. You're actually touching somebody, and you're gently and very, very respectfully working with the body.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned that when you first had it, there was some painful areas because where there's stagnicity and the blood isn't moving, there's going to be pain associated with that. But, you know, the movement that I do, as you have experienced, is very gentle and very yin. And it could be super soft, just like a soft movement of Tai Chi. When you see people in the park doing Tai Chi, they're not doing it in this manner. It's very
Right.
rhythmic and very soft and smooth. And that's how the work in the body is also very soft and smooth. So there's a period of waiting until the body opens. And then we can go with breath, and then we can go in a little bit more, just like Tai Chi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's a very unique modality that I feel like it's complementary to everything else that one might be experiencing in terms of a healing journey.
Mm-hmm. And who do you think this massage would be best for?
Everybody. because
Everyone?
because we hold a lot of stress in our gut.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to have some condition
Mm-hmm.
to warrant this kind of work. This is for even stress relief, to harmonize your nervous system, because a lot of our enteric nervous system is in the gut. And so it's good for, you know, harmonizing the body. And that applies to everyone.
Okay, that's really great because I actually didn't know that. That's why I wanted to ask. I was like, I'm not sure if this is just for, chronic conditions or anything like that. I know it's good for that, but like after hearing you like explain how it also is in that whole umbrella of chi, I was like, "Oh, it might be for everyone." So I'm glad you said that. Thank you for sharing that.
I was going to add, just for the general person who's healthy and they just want to be healthier, like, we all gain benefits from meditation, right? And how many of us can really go deep in our meditation? It takes time, doesn't it? And
Mhm.
once we do find that we experience it, maybe out of a 30-minute meditation, maybe the last 10 minutes was really diving deep, you know,
Right.
but the first 20 minutes was just trying to calm
Your
the mind,
mind. Yeah.
so hard working to calm that mind. And then finally
Yes.
you get there and it's like, oh, it was only 10 minutes that I really got deep, right? Like, oh my gosh, yeah. So in Chi Nei Tsang, so imagine your body being able to drop in right away, and you're in your parasympathetic and you're in calm and relaxed and safe. So imagine that whole time your body benefiting from like an hour or more of meditation, of a deep meditation.
Mhm. I mean, I benefit. That's why I'm a lifer. I love it, and I always feel so great after I do the massage. Like when I don't get to do it, like say I'm too busy and I'm like, oh man, I have to change my appointment. I always can tell when I need to go back. I'm like, yep, I need more because I must say, since I have been on this whole healing journey track and I've worked with you and I started acupuncture and so many other things, I don't feel as much stress in my belly as I used to. I don't hold it there as much. And I don't know if that's a result of that, but I've noticed, like, I was like, oh, I'm not holding my stress in my stomach as much. And I remember before, like you said, where it's like the knots and this, and I felt like I was developing stuff in my stomach. That's how stressed I was and like how much I could feel it. But now, no. And that it makes me feel so at peace.
Yes, it's all about bringing the body back to balance, because our bodies, in spite of ourselves, really desperately wants to heal.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. And so if we can help it along by any means, whether it's acupuncture, whether it's this kind of body work, whether it's meditation, whether it's mindfulness, whether it's tuning out all the negative environment and really embracing all positive aspects of our life and all the blessings, there's so much that we can do actually to bring that kind of balance to our body. And and eating, we're going to be talking about food. Food is a great aspect of it, but It's all the rest. It's the food
Hmm.
plus all the rest.
Yes, it's like the whole picture
Hmm.
instead of just the isolated thing. It's like everything is working together as one.
Absolutely. And this, what I love about your podcast and that you're doing this is that I hope that, when people watch this, they can feel that they are empowered to do something to make a shift.
Thank you. That's exactly what I want because once I realized I was always, I guess, one of those kids. I was kind of like a very much a go getter, and I don't settle for whatever answer someone gives me. If they're like, "Oh, you can't," I'm like, "But why not?" Why is that like that? I don't feel like it should be that way. So I want to figure out a way so it's not that way. I always felt like I should have inner peace. And I have not stopped until I began to find it. And I can happily say I have found inner peace. And I never thought I would actually get there. And I know I'm not super old or nothing, but it just felt like I was like, is this how I'm gonna live? Like I'm just I don't have the internal peace. And now I do, and I'm just like, I will never go back. I will always just keep going forward with more and more. So I hope that does inspire people that, you know, you can it's just about taking control of your own body,
Yes.
taking control of your own mind and just the whole thing. And if you want that experience, you can have it. Yeah, for sure. And yes, Sola empowers me all the time. Yes, she does. Before we get into talking a little bit more about food, do you have any advice for people who may be struggling with digestion issues or scar tissue specifically? Because I did an episode in the first season about like fibroids, and it got a lot of people's attention and they were like asking a lot of questions. So I thought maybe, it doesn't have to necessarily be about that, but apparently people want to know more about breaking up scar tissue and stuff. So,
Absolutely. Like I said, given all the rest, lifestyle shifts, eating well, sleeping well, again, tuning out the negative stuff and honing in on all the positive stuff, all these things have to be set in place. And once you have all those variables set in place, then the other thing is to have self care. And self care is there are ways in which you could manually massage the organs and manually massage the fascia, the connective tissue fibers that are around this areas of scar tissue and fibroids. And you could reduce the size of those fibroids by doing all that. Again, granted that all the rest is happening. Okay. It's so important to say because, not one modality or one thing that somebody does is going to shift. You've got to do all the rest.
yes, I agree with you, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because sometimes I think people they think like, well, I did that one thing, but everything else is full blown chaos. Like,
Yes, yes.
and you're like, well, like,
Mhm. And, you know, it's almost like, well, you and I know because we spend a lot of time in self care, self improvement, and healing, and all the rest. But if people will do all these great things, and then they're going to go and party and drink to the night, and then just not sleep for for hours on end, and so all of those things make a huge difference in our Chinese medicine. A lot of the root cause of illness and disease is these emotions also. Like we're holding on unconsciously to old resentment and old grief and sadness and despair and sorrow. All of these things, it really does affect the body in
yeah,
ways that we really don't want it to, right? So yeah, so there's an unwinding that has to happen from the root. What is the root cause of all of these things happening to someone, and how did this person get imbalanced to begin with? We were all born kind of new and fresh, and we have all of our perky organs, and everything is all great. So we were all like brand new coming into this world, and so unless of course there's a congenital thing that was passed on, but the bulk of us, we were all born brand new with brand new parts. Right. And so, Yeah, the root cause is always stemming from something that wasn't resolved from the past.
I'm going to go ahead and move into the food. So, a holistic way to approach food.
Hmm.
You definitely got my digestion back on track with my just simple things of just the food pairing.
Yes.
And I know you wanted to talk a little bit about holistic food, so I'm just going to let you have at it.
Okay. Yeah. So sometimes, I mean, there's so many ways in which people, they notice that their digestion isn't working 100%. So sometimes you have to kind of like rule out things and start from scratch. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you reached out, I was like, when you were explaining your thing, for instance, I said, well, Shondalia, maybe you could combine your food so that the digestion is optimal for your situation and might not be for, other people's, because we don't know their whole background, their whole
Right.
history, right? Those all have to be taken in consideration. And in Chinese medicine, we also have to take in consideration somebody's pattern, somebody's, constitution. But in your situation, the food combining I felt like was going to help you out, and just not mixing certain foods together, eating all your fruits by itself, so you get the benefit without the fruit mixing in with the protein and so on and so forth. Protein with a bunch of starch together can be clashing for some digestive systems. So things like that, and seasonally is so important. We have to pay attention to season. When it's cold like it is right now, you don't want to be loading yourself with ice cream and yogurt and iced coffee and ice cold drinks and things like that.
Right.
Considered raw food is cold.
Mm-hmm.
The way to bypass all that is to, for instance, if you're a salad eater and you're a vegan and you love eating salads and you love eating fruits, which like I do too, just heat them up a little bit. I know it
Mm-hmm.
sounds funny to heat up your fruits, but like let's say you're having oatmeal and then you put the fruit in the warm oatmeal, so now the fruit is warmed up. Things like that will really help with the seasonal changes. And then, of course, when it's summertime, then you can have more cold foods, and it's not going to disturb the balance of your system.
Is it just because it's warm outside?
Well, if it's when the season changes from damp, like right now it's very humid in
Mm-hmm.
LA and it's very cold.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely don't want to eat that kind of food either, because it's just going to not sit well in the stomach. It's not going to digest well. And you can see it in like the stool. When you look at your stool, this isn't a thing that we all do.
We all do.
Kind of gives you an idea of what's going on inside. How does your stool look? Well, we all when you have pets, you look at the pet stools, right? When you
This
have a
is
dog and
true.
you're walking your dog and you're like, oh my God, that dog, that food I just fed him last night, oh, he's got all diarrhea. That's
It's
not the food
true.
you want to give your dog, right?
Right. You're like, what's going on with him? Let me go look at this. Look.
Right, right. And so that's what you want to do for yourself as well. You just want to peep down a little bit and take a look at your stool and see how it's coming out. And then that'll give you a big clue as to that food that you ate yesterday and the kinds of food that you've been eating, if it's really working for you.
Yeah. And just because you mentioned the summer, eating specific foods in the summer, why is it different though in the summer? Like, I guess I don't
Because
quite
in the
understand
summer,
that.
there's a lot of heat and there's more hours of sun. And
Oh.
so we have more heat backing us up. So if we decide that we're going to have a salad or eat that, juicy pineapple fruit, it's not going to interfere so much. But on the same token, you so enjoyed these foods and this was your go-to and you're like, oh my God, I found my food. And then now the season changed. Now it's damp, rainy, and super cold, and you're like eating that food, and you're wondering, God, it's not really digesting well. And in fact, I'm getting bloated and cramps, and
Yeah.
my stool doesn't look all that, healthy and full like it used to in the summertime. What's going on? Stuff like that. So it's worth paying
Oh.
attention to.
I
Hmm.
never even considered that. Like,
Oh
I know
yeah,
they have specific dishes. You see chefs, they'll change the dish. Now you see the soups and the stuff
yeah.
within the winter months, and then you get all the like very light foods and stuff like that in the summer. Or you have like the kind of, I call it like the the middle ground foods in the spring and the fall, almost like it's like they almost segue you to the winter or segue you to, but I never thought about like our actual bodies have more heat and we have more sun. Like I just haven't put it all together. But wow, that's very
Yeah.
eye-opening.
Yeah. And then in the wintertime, the sun is so short, by 4:30, 5 o'clock here in LA, it's already like dark.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a good segue for us to talk about, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites is like bone broth soups, and soups in general, chicken soup, bone broth soup, any kind of soup that can be just thrown into the crock pot.
Now you had a little protein ball or something that you brought, right? It was like
Well,
a
I just happened to make it, so I thought, I said,
yeah. Let me
Should
see
I
it.
be
What is
showing
it?
this protein
Yeah.
ball too?
Let me
Anyway,
see.
so this is what it looks like. It's made out of dates, and can you see it?
Yeah, it has like little chocolate or something on
Well,
top
no,
or
this is
nuts.
raw cacao, raw
Oh,
cacao.
it's raw cacao.
It's
How
a
did you
raw
get it
cacao.
chunky?
Well, it's already like cut up, so that it's all like chunky like this, but it's the raw cacao. And
Oh.
basically this is a protein, high nutrient dense protein little ball
Mm-hmm.
that is so easy to make. And I make this because I'm super busy. I work with a lot of patients in the clinic. I do acupuncture for lots of patients throughout the day. And with that, it's hard to find time to eat. But when I just
Mm-hmm.
nibble on some of this in between patients, I'm good to go. Like I'm not hungry at all. It's made out of dates, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate, raw cacao, flaxseed, mango, sesame seeds, peanut butter, cashew nuts, pine nuts, goji berries.
Oh my gosh.
I know it's got
This
everything,
is like an
right?
action-packed protein
It's action
ball.
packed.
I love it. I love it. Well, I have to get the recipe for you so I can put it on screen for everyone. But wow, that's
Yeah.
thanks for sharing that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so full of antioxidant rich, and pumpkin seed is good for if you have parasites,
Yes.
and we all get a little doses of parasites because we don't know what we're eating when we're eating out, and how well they washed all the produce, and how well they cook the meat,
Yeah.
even in our own, so in Chinese medicine we talk about parasites a lot. I know it's not like one of those you know, subject that people want to talk about, but it is a real thing. And so, any chance that you can eat things that are going to, you know, move out the parasites, it's always good. Like pumpkin seed or, pomegranate seeds, all those things sprinkled in, your foods. It's all
Mm-hmm.
great, great and easy stuff to do to
I've
incorporate.
started to do that with pumpkin seeds. I didn't know it got rid of parasites, so I'm doing a
Yeah,
favor
it's
to
one of the
myself.
fruits. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But I've definitely started adding pumpkin seeds to things, and I just did it because I like the taste.
Yeah.
But definitely I'll start adding that in. I didn't know pomegranate seeds did the same thing. Do you
Oh, yeah.
dry the pomegranate seeds? Like you
No,
take
no,
them
you
out,
just,
you like bake them, or you just put
no,
it?
you know how you just crack open the pomegranate and all those juicy seeds?
Oh,
So
just eating the
you just
pomegranate
eat the
seeds.
whole thing, and you eat the white seed inside as well. And
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, just sprinkle a little bit in your foods. Like when you make foods, or you could
Yeah.
sprinkle it in your water.
Oh, I do. I make my little, it's not a real cocktail. It has no alcohol, but I'll have like a little mineral water or something, and I'll put like lime, lemon, and I've put like pomegranate seeds in it, and that makes me feel like I'm
Well,
having a
see, there you
cocktail.
go. You're already doing it. Yeah, it's so easy.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a lot of it. Just, while it's in season, you might as well sprinkle it in all your foods. It's so delicious, and it's so
Yeah.
hydrating and full of iron and magnesium and zinc, and it's anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. I mean, you can't go wrong,
You
by
can't
eating
go
all these
wrong.
foods.
It definitely has helped me as because I also use like pomegranate my husband got it. It's like a pomegranate molasses almost. It's basically the
Oh,
liquid form of it. It's like no preservatives or anything in it. And I've put that this is like to help me stop drinking. Not that I've been an alcoholic or anything, but it has helped. It makes me feel like I'm having a cocktail. You know what I mean?
yeah.
when I want something a little jazzed up, I'm okay with just the seeds, but sometimes I'll do a little drop in there of like the pomegranate juice. It's pomegranate juice. That's what it technically is.
Mhm.
But, I like the seeds a lot, especially when I want something light and I want to feel like I'm having a little cocktail at the end of the day. It makes me feel really nice.
Yeah, and what a great way to, entertain guests, and do it a healthy way.
A healthy way. Absolutely. I'm learning. I'm getting there. I think I actually, not even think I am. I've been working on, because I'm trying to eliminate alcohol altogether, and I've been doing really well. So I'm trying to find different ways to make non-alcoholic cocktails. Their mocktails are becoming a big thing now. I don't know if you know that they're starting to have bars with mocktails. There's like all these, specialized like mocktails. So I was like, I need to start learning how to do this for myself, and then I'll feel good. I'll feel better.
Yeah. Any which way that will help people, because there's alternative ways to still be
Mm-hmm.
social and still have nice drinks and
Yeah.
make it good for you.
Yes. So why don't we move on to the body work? We were gonna do the Buffalo Plow Earth
Okay.
demo, and this
Yeah.
is the first time we're doing a demo on my podcast, so I'm super excited. I'm always excited. I get so overjoyed.
All right. So this is a qigong, and this is a good digestive aid, and this also helps with people that have issues in general, with gas and bloating, stomach distension and indigestion when they eat something, and stomach cramping. But in general, because when we talk about Chi Nei Tsang and working with the organs and making everything harmonious in the body, this is also good for that, because we're going to do it ourselves in a sense. Okay, so I'm going to just flip this back so you guys could see my abdomen. Here's the abdomen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it. I'm gonna do mine too. I think I'm gonna have to open my fly so my
Okay.
belly can poke out.
So what we could do here, we're going to clap our hands, bring some chi into our fingers, right? Let's bring it in. And then we're going to take a deep breath, expand everything out, like really expand here. And then round your spine and exhale. You're going to stick your tongue out. Let the tongue stick out the whole time. And then you're just going to plow with your buffalo fingers. This is called buffalo plowing the earth.
Yes.
We're going to plow.
Plow.
Plow, plow, plow. And then once we're done with the exhale and we come up, like we're surprised. And then S sound. S sound is the lung sound. It's harmonizing for the gut. It grounds. And then here, you're going to notice when you do this, your salivary glands start to act up, and then there's saliva formulating. Let's rub the belly. And then gulp that the saliva.
I love it. It's like a cartoon character.
It is a cartoon character. You know it, Shondalia. Mom and Jerry.
Yeah.
When the little mouse
Yeah.
the cat, he's like,
oh.
So we're rubbing, distributing the pre-digestive enzymatic liquid. So that's an example. And we did it one time, but you could plow like many different areas of the abdomen.
Mm-hmm.
And each time you plow, we want to come up, make that gasping sound, because we're bringing in a big load of oxygen, and then S sounds. This return breath with the lung sound helps to keep very sustainable amounts of the CO2, because when you do it that way, you increase the load of oxygen going into your tissues and your organs. You make it more efficient. So this way of breath is very significant in our health. So just
I
imagine.
love that.
Just
Thank
imagine
you.
all the ancients, the
Thank
old
you
timers.
so much. I like just so people can see. So I'm gonna do like this. So we usually kind of do it here. Do it here.
Yep.
And then I do the middle.
Yep.
And we do, so it's like I end up going on one side, and then I
each
And
time
I
do that
dive
return.
back in.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
you know, and then
I
I
always
dive
say
back in.
I always say it's like, when you do the return breath, just imagine somebody stepped on your doorstep and said, "Oh, you won $1 billion." And then you go, "Ah!" and then
Calm down. Calm down. Don't let them know you got the money. And I always think of the movement of like doing the butt.
get it, move it, move it. Wow. The fingers are the buffaloes and your abdomen is the earth. So it's
Yes.
buffalo plowing the earth.
Yes. Thank you.
Mhm.
Oh, I love that one. I really do.
Yeah,
And it's so
I'm
funny.
still like bringing in more saliva. It just keeps on
It's
spreading.
coming. Yeah.
Mhm. It really does help. This is the best thing for people that have indigestion problems, or they feel like, no matter what they do, like their gut doesn't feel right when they eat.
Yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
So I hope you all can utilize that. It's so much fun and it's so good. Oh, it's so good. And how often should people that are struggling with that, how often should they do it?
Well, let's put it this way. Everybody, no matter what your condition is, you should do this after you drink warm water in the morning. Then get at it, do the buffalo plowing the earth, and then brush your teeth, and then wash your face and do all the rest. But get this out of the way first thing in the morning for everyone. And then if you're one of those people that have indigestion issues and all that, then right before you eat a meal, let's say you're going to have lunch, then you just go somewhere, and do it. Do it for like 2 minutes. That's it. And then you go eat.
Then you eat. Get
Mm-hmm.
that movement in.
Get the movement in. Move all that congestion out of the way. Whatever's
Move it.
blocking it. Move it out.
I love it. Now I'm going to do like a quick rapid fire before we move on to our next segment. And just going to ask you some regular little questions.
Okay.
What are your favorite water-based vegetables?
The water base, I would say like daikon, jicama's, anything that has lots of juice, cabbage, radishes, carrots, cucumbers, celery. Those things have a lot of juice.
Yes. Do you have any guilty pleasure foods?
I like dark chocolate. So yeah, I like dark chocolate. So sometimes, these energy balls, sometimes I'll just
Mm-hmm.
drizzle dark chocolate over it, like that's been melted and then it gets hardened and then it's like, having a bar. Or I just get, dark chocolate from the health food store and make something out of it. Yeah.
Do you have any favorite summertime dishes that you love?
Yeah, summertime dishes. Any fruit. I'm a big lover of fruit, like pineapple, papayas. Very enzymatic rich foods are so good for the summer. A grapefruit is just lovely, and all kinds of like watermelon. Melons are great. They're super juicy, super hydrating. So yeah, it's just so much to choose from in the summertime.
Yes,
We're
so
not going
much
to
to
have a
choose from.
shortage.
No.
That's for sure.
And the last thing, what are some of your favorite summertime drinks? Like, do you have favorite drinks that you do in the summer? Do you juice a specific drink? Do you like buy
Yeah.
specific things?
Yeah, in the summertime because we're sweating more, right? In general, because it's hot. Celery juice. Celery juice is on top of my list. So celery juice, cucumber juice, or even a mixture of the two together, and just all kinds of like I do load up on green juice in the summertime, like all kinds of green juice, and even the fruit. Maybe add some pineapple into the mix or some apples, some green apples, and things like that. So these are great, great
Oh,
drinks.
fantastic.
Hmm.
Yes, delicious. I do that too. All right, all this talk about food, we're going to move on to There's Another Way to Do That. This segment is called There's Another Way to Do That, where I teach you how to modify recipes based on my restrictions. But for season 2, I'm modifying recipes inspired by my guest. So, Sola, tell me about one of your favorite dishes.
Well, bone broth and chicken stews and any kind of soups and things like that. That's very easy to digest is one of my favorites.
Awesome. And what do people usually get wrong when they make it?
Well, it depends. If they're making bone broth soup, I highly suggest they skim off all the fat. So it's going to take a process of 2 days, actually, a long time boiling it, and then 2 days to refrigerate it, and then skim off that lard that's on top because you don't want that in your arteries. So get rid of it, and then having that bone broth. So I think that people, if they just shortcut it and they don't do that part, then it can be too fatty of a soup.
Oh wow. That I see. I'm glad I asked that. I have no idea what will make it like like I'm like the lard. Where's the
Oh,
lard?
no, no, you don't want the lard.
I'll have to look and see what that even looks like. Like it becomes like a little white film or something, right?
Well, if you have good quality bone broth, it's going to be yellow from the
It's
bone marrow
yellow.
because the bone marrow is yellow. And
Okay.
I do have a good source. It's not like we're endorsing them or anything, or they don't even know that I'm going to be talking about them. But I get mine from True Beef. True Beef
Okay.
ships it to your house, and it's like this amazing quality,
Bone
and
broth.
it's pure yellow. When you see that
Oh
on top, it's
wow.
pure yellow.
So it should come out yellow?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
And what about if they like what if you have multiple bones? Because usually with bone broth, a lot of it you can do like beef bones, you can do chicken bones, like you have chicken feet and different stuff in it.
Yeah.
What do you what kind do you like the most? Does it is it different bones together? Is it certain
Well,
ones?
I think the bone broth has the more punch, the bang for your bucks, if you will, for benefits. For the Jing. In Chinese medicine we call it the Jing power. Our essence, because it's believed that our that comes from that part of the organ system, which is the
Mm-hmm.
kidney system, and that involves the bone marrow as well as all of our bones. And our anti-aging and our longevity process is all linked to that. So the beef bone, I think, has you get the most for your efforts.
I got you. And it's
Mhm.
all beef bones, so you don't mix it. So if they doing the chicken bone broth, do all chicken bones. If
Yeah,
you're
do all
doing the
chicken. Yeah, because they taste different too. They have a different
mm-hmm.
taste, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh huh.
Oh, so this is where the lard is coming in. Okay. And then I
Yeah.
was like, uh-huh. And then do you have any toppings or sides that you like to have with it, or do you just drink it straight up?
I make it very well. I put a little Koreanism into it, so there's a lot of garlic and there's a lot of like side Korean sauces that I make. Like kind of spicy. I know that
Mm-hmm.
spicy is not always great for everybody, but every now and then, I like to add a little spice. So diced, greens like
Mm-hmm.
cilantro and parsley and um, I mentioned it before, but like celery head, the lettuce of the celery head, and things like that, and yeah,
That's how you
garlic,
like it.
a certain garlic paste that I make. So it could be anything, anything that
Yeah.
people like to have on their soup. It's easy.
And how do you think I will do making it?
I think you'll do fine. The thing is, like, flavor the bone broth stock with
Mm-hmm.
like onions and copious amounts of garlic if you love garlic, and a healthy stock, like you could put a vegetarian stock, the bouillons that have no MSG and has no artificial anything. You can get them at health food stores, like Erewhon or Whole Foods or any of those other places, Rainbow Acres, and you just get that and you toss that in there. And if you don't want to use that, then you can um, just put some good quality salt and pepper, Celtic sea salt, for example, rather than table salt. I would highly recommend that people pay attention to the quality of the salt as well. The Celtic sea salts are the most purest.
Okay. Does that mean it's super salty? Like
No, it
that
doesn't mean that's super salty. It
it's
just means that
milder?
it just doesn't have all the like the toxins that regular salts might have.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. So you think I'll do well as long as I season this stock?
Yes. As long as you could season the stock like that, and then you know, um, you can take out the onion and toss that. And you could take out some of that garlic if you want and toss that out. So then it's just like this clear stock. And then you can add all your other goodies, all your toppings that you like.
Okay, Sola thinks I can do it, so we're gonna see how I do. Before we'll be back with another Shondalia's Inside Scoop after this month's There's Another Way to Do That cooking segment. Be sure to check out how I modify Sola's favorite dish on my YouTube channel. The link is in the description. Up next, Shondalia's Inside Scoop. This is Shondalia's Inside Scoop, where my life is a trivia question. You've heard of food trivia, but this gets personal. Let's see if you can guess what's true. The game is simple. I'll ask you 3 questions in regards to my own personal health and wellness or things that I like, and you'll let me know how well you know me based on how you answer. So let's get into that. Okay, Sola. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yay. Okay, question number 1. Fill in the blank. If I cook with blank oil, I will likely vomit.
If you cook with seed oil.
And what are seeds oil? What's a specific
Like canola
seed
oil.
You are correct! I do. I get sick. I vomit. Oh my gosh, I can't. And I know when it's in food now. I'm like,
You could tell. I know. Even when I eat out, I could tell when they snuck in the canola oil. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, they tend to do it. And if you don't know, they sneak it in a lot of restaurants. Canola and vegetable oils because it's cheap.
Yep.
Question number 2. You're doing great. All right. What There's Another Way to Do That recipe got the most views on my YouTube channel? A, roasted cream cheese stuffed dates. B, grilled chicken sandwich. C, baked zucchini bites. Or D, baked salmon roll cups?
A.
You are correct! It did! Roasted cream cheese stuffed dates. People loved it. It got like thousands of views. I was so shocked. Good job, Sola. Oh my gosh, I hope you win. Okay, last question. She is on fire. All right, true or false? Would I feel comfortable eating at someone else's house? Yes or no?
Well, having a thought about it, and probably not.
This is correct, Sola. You are a winner, girl. You are officially a winner. There's only a few, and you won it. Yes. Sola was totally ready to take a bite out of my story. Check us out next time for Shondalia's Inside Scoop. Let's wrap this thing up. I hope that this episode taught you a lot about Chi in general, Chi Nei Tsang, so much about food, the diet, and just different ways you can use body movement and body work to help you on your healing journey, and a lot about Sola. And like I always say, take care of your body so it can take care of you, or you're going to be dealing with a lot of shit. Okay, Sola, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. Please let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram, super easy, at Solatao, SOLLATAO.
Awesome. Yay. Thank you again for joining me, Sola. This has been so much fun. This has been I Can't Eat Shit podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I truly appreciate you all. If you like what you saw and or heard today, go ahead and like, share, subscribe. I Can't Eat Shit podcast on YouTube or wherever you stream your podcast. If you watch me, there's bonus material. There's another way to do that. My full cooking segment where I teach you how to modify recipes based on my restrictions. They're oh so good, so make sure you check them out. You can also check me out on Instagram at I Can't Eat Shit Podcast or at Shondalia White. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. I Can't Eat Shit. I Can't Eat Shit podcast is not a replacement for a medical professional. If you need help, seek out a trained medical professional, nutritionist, or therapist to help you with your specific needs.